Our favorite video game ever, StarCraft, turns 25 years old today. Even though my internet is horrific, I wanted to get a quick little cast out for you guys to just commemorate the fact that this game has been going strong for 25 years. This is the most hyper competitive and skillful game ever created, and it is the sort of game where if you spend the time to get good at it, is going to be incredibly rewarding. And it's not the sort of game where you're sitting there dealing with terrible allies and having to bother with griefers and people that are just being insufferable teammates. This is a 1v1 slugfest game where you really get to show whether you are better than your opponent or not. And there's no excuses. And for a lot of people, that's too much to handle, but for me, I love that. So who are the players today? Dun 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 dun, as we boot up the green monster size scoreboard. Redeemer Media, who, if you don't know, is the late great Jeffrey John Vincent Robinson, and he's facing off against Greg IdrA in the top right here. IdrA making a supply depot and IncontroL starting a pool before expansion. And of course, observing the game, Cajun Zerg, LZ Gamer, Team Captain Dan Artosis, Bryce Machine Bates, and Nyokin, the talented Macro Terran. I'm going to close the scoreboard as it is obviously intrusive. IncontroL, grabbing a gas here. So remember, there were really two schools of thought whenever it came down to trying to play against IdrA, known as the Macro Machine, and the most fearsome player for the non-Koreans in Brood War history. And what was the book on IdrA? You either A, try to outgreed him and go toe-to-toe with him in a macro game, and pretty much nobody could do that. You had guys like Rhett who were able to do it sometimes, but it was just very difficult to go into these long, protracted games, as you see both players sending out a worker scout. You just didn't want to have to face off against IdrA in this long, standard macro game where it's going up to 6 bases. Remember, Brood War, very difficult mechanically as the workers do a high 5 there. There is no multiple building select in Brood War. There are highly limited control groups in Brood War, so you could really differentiate yourself skill-wise from your opponent in long macro games. Firstlings are out here for IncontroL. They're going to kill IdrA's workers, and IdrA's worker, his scout, and IdrA's going to say, well, shit. Looks like I am going to be attacked, so IdrA gets the first Marine out. IncontroL, we'll try to damage it with this drone. It's actually very important to try to soften up the first couple Marines whenever you're going to do a Ling All-In, but here we go. IdrA's going to try to block his ramp with workers, and remember, depots didn't raise at this time like they did in StarCraft 2, so you can't just make a depot wall at the top. And the Lings are attacking the workers, and the workers trying to sponge the damage here, but IncontroL is going to slip in as the macro machine is up shit creek here. Big trouble here for IdrA as the Marine comes out, shoots once, and then gets immediately dove upon, and IdrA is completely screwed and will be forced to GG. So obviously I had to pick a game that my bandwidth could actually handle uploading. Happy 25th birthday to StarCraft. We absolutely love the game, and our lives wouldn't have been the same without it. Getting to go to LANs, getting to meet these pro gamers was a very special part of my life, just like going to opening day in baseball. Went to the Rangers opening day yesterday. It was phenomenal. Rangers won. Big surprise, actually. They've been terrible for years. Hopefully they make the playoffs this season. Love StarCraft, love baseball. Hope you guys are doing well.